What's up guys, it's ALLDAYANTHONY and I'm in the garage today for another Grom video. So I'm sure you guys know how this works by now. I have a Grom, I got a box, probably means I got something new for the Grom. And if you thought that, you'd be right. So anyways, I came home the other day to a surprise package from the nice folks at Zoom Exhaust and a message on Instagram saying, hey, we sent you something, we want you to try it out, give us your honest feedback, and let us know what you think. So just want to start this whole video off by saying that they sent me a product and I am simply doing a review on it. It's not sponsored, I do not sell these exhausts, this is just something I'm doing. So anyways, as you guys know, I'm a big advocate of the Zoom loop exhaust. I have had this on my bike for well over a year now and I absolutely love it. The loop design looks really cool, the actual finish of the exhaust is really nice, and I like the fact that it uses back pressure to create more power in that mid and upper RPM range. So it's been a great exhaust, but it sounds like they sent me something new and I am super happy to try that out. So for today's video, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unbox this box, see what's inside of it. While I take that exhaust right there off, I figured it's a good time to do an oil change, so I'll probably put some new oil in the Grom, and then after I put the, hopefully, that is a new exhaust, on the bike, then I will reset the ECU and show you guys how I do that. So that's something to look forward to. So with that said, let's tear open that box. All right, so switching over to the GoPro, we got our box here. Feels pretty light actually. It's not super heavy. Tear this open. It actually looks like it's an Amazon box. I saw the little Amazon. Yeah, there it is. So I don't know if they sent me this directly from their Amazon distributor, or I guess their Amazon warehouse. However that works, I am not sure, but, and I got paper. Oh, okay, I got some other things. So, wow, they're getting really good at this packaging. I mean, look at that. They're able to shrink wrap that all into this small little thing here. So, and that definitely does look like an exhaust. So I got that, and ooh, what is this? What is this? What is this thing? Like 3 layers of plastic. This must be special. Oh, I think it's a shirt. Oh, it's a nicely wrapped sticker. Wow, like the packaging, guys, I'm serious. I don't know what they're doing, but they really wrap these things tight. So let's open that up. All right, so bam, little zoom. Oh, that's cool, dude. Look at that. There's like a zoom, there's the loop design. They have that on the, that's really cool. Actually, dig that, that's awesome. It's an XL, that is my size. And then high performance zoom for life. That's actually, dude, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, like I know some people are like, oh, that's, you know, some people might think like that's tacky or something, but dude, I'm a fan of shirts. If you guys want to see your shirts worn, I will wear shirts. I'm a shirt guy, so cool. Moving on, so we have this giant, this thing looks like a big hunk of meat, man. This is a lot. Oh my God, dude, this thing, they packaged the hell out of this stuff. Really just the most amount of tape I've ever seen. I see why they wrap this now. This is all super nice underneath here. Holy crap. Serious. Look how much crap is on this. Dude, this is so much wrapping. Wow. Wow, okay. That makes sense. That's really nice. This is a nice piece. Cool, dude, look at that. Seriously, guys, like this is really nice. I mean, I'm not just saying this. This is like some quality stuff here. Wow. A really cool looking pipe. So this, I believe this is called their Brute exhaust. This is called the Zoom Brute. It's a low mount down there, so it'd sit down there and then that pipe would come up towards the rear swing arm. So this attaches, I believe, just right like that. Clamps on. Wow. Wow, okay guys, so yeah, we'll go ahead and take off the old Zoom loop exhaust and then change out the oil while we're doing that, and then throw this bad boy on. I'm excited, guys, this is awesome. Okay, so real quick, before I take that off, like I said, I wanted to change the oil while everything was off, make things a little easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the bike, run it for a couple of minutes, get some of the oil moving through so it drains a little bit easier, and hopefully by the time I remove the exhaust, it'll be cooled down. But I will give you guys one last startup with the zoom loop so you can hear what it sounds like. If you want to see more of this exhaust and hear more about it, just go to my previous video where I installed the zoom loop. But here is the startup. Not a big fan of revving things cold, but sounds good. Alright guys, so I got the zoom loop exhaust off the bike. It comes off much easier if you just take the whole thing off rather than remove it piece by piece. So with that off, I'm going to change the oil now. So I'm going to bring the bike off of the stand and put it on its side stand so I can change the oil as you should before I move on to installing the new Brute exhaust. Alright guys, so this has got to be maybe the 9th, 10th time I've changed the oil on the Grom. I've changed it so many times that this has just become kind of like clockwork for me. This is what I use. It is just the Honda GN4 4-stroke motor oil, $6. I think they price gouged me, man. Typically it was like $4, but basically it takes close to the whole cord. I know a lot of people say just put the whole cord in, and that's fine. I found that I pretty much go to that bottom little line there, and that seems to be the money spot as far as all my measurements go, and that's what I've always done. All right, so with the oil all the way out, I'll grab myself a little all-purpose cleaner here, get underneath here, and just kind of clean up around the drain plug. All right, so now it's time to fill. I can open this bad boy, nice and fresh. We have our funnel here. And I just take my time on this because this is a kind of a shallow fill hole, so I just put a little bit in at a time so it doesn't go on the engine casing. Pull it out, should have oil on the dipstick, and that's money. All right, it's time to get this thing done. So I got everything laid out here. I briefly looked over these instructions, which are actually pretty informative. It's just a bunch of pictures, but I learn best through pictures, so that works for me. Pretty straightforward. So I have everything else laid out here, and I looked over all the little bits and pieces, and like I said before, I was just really impressed with the quality. I mean, this inside little L bracket here, the fact that it's reinforced, I like that. Makes me think they thought of some things that maybe others didn't. I like that there's this little L bracket here that they included, so there will be 3 mounting points total. So they'll have a mounting point at the header, and then a mid mounting point which uses an existing hole on the bottom of the casing, and then there is a 3rd mounting point which uses the existing stock bracket right there. So I like that. It did come with a dB killer. Not going to be using that because I like loud things. And there's already a dB killer inside here, which I'm going to take out as well because yeah, I like loud exhaust. What can I say? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the brackets lined up, get that dB killer out of there, and let's get this thing mounted. Nice, okay, good. Go ahead and throw those away. All right, so I got everything mocked up, and yeah, this was a little more difficult than I thought. I'll just throw that out there. Mainly for the fact that when you go to line everything up, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna fit, right? Your holes don't line up or anything like that. And honestly, it takes the slightest bit of finagling. Like you have to rotate the pipe ever so slightly to, you know, make one hole accessible, but if you rotate it too much, the other hole isn't accessible. It's kind of difficult. The instructions don't really explain that, so Zoom, if you're listening to this, having a little more clear instructions or just saying that, yeah, these brackets might have to bend a little bit to make certain things work, it would help a little bit, I'm just saying. So basically, what I ended up doing was getting on the bracket, the L bracket. Instead of going to the casing first, I took that L bracket and actually put it on the exhaust, tightened it down as much as I could, and then mocked it up to the under the casing there. Then I reused the existing bolt. I didn't use the zoom bolt. I used the existing stock bolt for that rear bracket there, just because I know it fits perfect. And then for the front here, what I end up doing is mocking up the front, sliding everything in, and then just kind of bringing everything up. And I know that sounds like it's easy, but wait till you try it, and it's not super easy. But everything's mocked up. I just need to go through and tighten everything down, but there is clearance here on the exhaust. I think it looks awesome. I just want to get everything tightened down, then we'll start it up and hear what it sounds like. Okay, gonna give it a quick wipe down before I start it up, get the fingerprints off of it, all that stuff so it doesn't burn onto there. First start up, fresh oil, hopefully nothing explodes, and here we go. Well, actually, that's a lot quieter than I thought. It's really not that loud. What do you guys think? Sounds pretty quiet. I don't know. Kind of feel bad revving it while it's cold, but let's try it out. Ooh, okay, hey. That actually, wow, that's now revving it, it's louder than the zoom. So that's weird. Like at idle it's quieter, but when revving it's louder. So yeah, guys, I dig it. I like it a lot. So we'll go ahead, let it warm up, give it some proper revs, and go from there. Alright guys, we're gonna go take it for a quick rip, see how it feels and sounds, see if it makes any difference in terms of power or anything. Okay, so we're at a countryside road here, see how the bike does. So initial impressions are that first gear, the takeoff on first gear, I would often get kind of like a pause with the zoom loop, kind of like it was hesitant to go, and that's not an issue with the Brute so far. I mean, this feels great right off the line. So third gear right now, take it up to fourth, 52 miles an hour. So far, and it feels really good. It feels healthy. It feels like a very linear power band. In comparison to the zoom loop, the zoom, like I said, kind of was hesitant when you first take off. Like the torque wasn't really there, but right when you get to that mid to upper RPM range, it kind of punches you in the face a little bit of power. So far, this is just really consistent feeling. I mean, I'm hitting 55 right here. The wind is actually against me, but it feels good. So I'm excited to have some low end power again. You know, very similar to the AR exhaust that I first reviewed. It had a lot of low end, not a lot of high end. But what I'm noticing about this exhaust is it seems very linear all the way through. So you're getting that same power band from the moment you start to the moment you end, and I like that so far. So again, I have not reset the ECU. The ECU is still technically on the learned loop exhaust, right? So I'd have to reset this to get the full benefit of this exhaust, and I'm going to do that here in a little bit. But so far, I just want to get my initial impressions, see how the bike feels, see how it handles. Like I said, it feels really, really good so far. So maybe what I'll do, I think what I'll do is I'll do a couple wheelies over here. the next thing I want to test out is the second gear power band. So I want to start off at a really low RPM in second gear and then work my way to max RPM, just because second gear is typically your power gear on the Grom. So we'll see how it does. First gear, what I want to do is I want to short shift into second, get about 3,000 RPM, and then go. All right, that actually felt pretty good. Rev limiter at 42 miles an hour. Rev limiter in third. Probably going to hit here at about 55. 57. There's 58. Rev limiter in third. We're in fourth now. We're going downhill though. Stay in your lane, dude. Alright, so we're at about 64 down that quick little hill. I am kind of against the wind. I think wind's blowing south. So that felt pretty good. Okay guys, so we're back home and it's time to reset the ECU. So the hardest part about this whole process is going to be finding a paperclip. So once you've found a paperclip, you're going to go ahead and take off the seat on the Grom, and you're going to find this little red plug here. This should be electrical tape from the factory. So once you find that, there's a little cap here. You're going to pop that off. There's a little clip. It's kind of a pain to get off, but once you get it off, there it is. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our paperclip and locate the blue and green wire. So the blue and green wire are right across from each other there. So what we're going to do is we are going to slide this paperclip into this little plug, and we're basically going to get it to where the metal is touching on the metal. All right, with the paperclip in, we're going to make sure that the kill switch is into the on position, and we're going to hold open the throttle, flip on the bike, and you're going to start to see that check engine light flash really fast. And then let go. And then it's going to go back to our normal blinking pattern. And there we go. That's it. The ECU has been reset. Take those out. And if we turn it back on, check engine light comes off. No flashing, no nothing. And that's it. So that is the end of that process. So now the ECU can relearn this exhaust at a much faster rate than it would if I were to just slap it on there. So it's the best thing to do. Like I said, the hardest part is finding a paperclip. So that part is done. All right guys, so we reset the ECU and we are good to go. So I wanted to end the video with just my final thoughts on everything, just kind of give you a brief review of everything we did. The install itself was a little more difficult than I was expecting, and that's not because it's not easy to do. It's just more or less that I'm a perfectionist and I like everything to line up and match up, perfectly. So in order to do that, I had to mock up the exhaust, several different times, put it up on the bolts, put it back down the bolts. I had to kind of bend the hinges a little bit to make it fit exactly how I wanted to. But all in all, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So the pipe looks awesome. It really does look cool. I ended up getting all the brackets and everything perfectly in line with my OCD. And then as far as the clearance back here, there's still plenty of clearance from the swing arm to the pipe itself. So that looks great as well. My biggest recommendation is that if you do get this exhaust, just take your time, don't get frustrated. If you're a perfectionist like me, mock it up once, mock it up twice, just to see where you want everything lined up, and then just kind of finagle it from there. So it's not a perfect thing, but you'll get used to it and you'll get better at it. So I'm really happy with that. I like the way it sounds. It sounds good. It sounds different than the Zoom loop exhaust, and I just kind of want to leave it at that. Like, it's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. It's just a different tone, but I do like the tone of the brew. It does sound good. In terms of which exhaust is better, I can't give you that final review yet. I know these are around the same price point. I had the Zoom on my bike for a year with no complaints, other than having a little bit of a lack of low-end torque, kind of bogged down from time to time, in second gear if I'm in a low RPM. That's normal, I understand, but I felt like that wasn't an issue with the Brute so far. So I'm excited to put some more miles on it to see how it holds up. It does feel sturdier, it does feel a little more well built than the Zoom loop, and I'm just saying that because I think there's less there's fewer parts, you know, in general. Everything's mostly welded on this pipe, whereas on the loop you have several different pieces. So, you know, take that, you know, with a grain of salt, or, you know, I don't know if that makes a big difference, but it just felt a little bit nicer to me. So overall, I'm really happy with it. Thank you, Zoom, for sending this out. I'm excited to go rip on this some more, you know, wear my shirt around, you know, things like that. So if you guys are interested in picking up the Zoom Brute exhaust, I will put Zoom's Amazon listing down in the description. I believe Tommy Davis, who is the other guy I've worked through before, he also has a YouTube channel. I believe he is a distributor in the US still for Zoom. So you might want to hit him up. I'll include his email down in the description as well. But those are two sources to pick it up from. I believe, I don't typically, you know, like talking about price, but I believe the Zoom is around $260 to $275 shipped. So definitely check down the listings. I know prices can vary from time to time, but yeah, guys. So if you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. You guys can subscribe for more. I'm sure there will be another exhaust in the future that I'll put on this bike. This bike seems to go through more exhaust than any other bike I know. So, but it's fun, and I like experiencing different sounds and the way the bike feels. So, all right, guys, so that's a wrap, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So, All Day Anthony. Peace.